Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the Huawei Nova 9 against the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Right now we are shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has a better audio and which one has better stabilization. We have switched now to the rear cameras, and again, just like before, we are shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. They do also feature ultra-wide cameras, but as you can see, the ultra-wide camera found on the S20 FE is a lot wider compared to the one found on the Nova 9. Starting with some pictures from their front cameras, and in this very first case you can see the Nova 9 is brighter compared to the S20 FE. The latter did manage to have a slightly better dynamic range, but honestly speaking I don't like either of them. We have very similar results in this case too. Also, my face is not that sharp on the Nova 9, while I look over sharpened on the S20 FE. This time I prefer the Huawei, because I don't like how processed the picture on the S20 FE is. Moving to a next place, and just like before, the picture of the Nova 9 looks more appealing for me. None of them did actually manage to preserve my skin colors right, but when it comes to pick one, I'd go for the Nova 9. In this next case I do actually prefer the S20 FE, even though the picture is way too sharp and processed. The Nova 9 picture on the other hand is soft, but my face is overexposed and the dynamic range is worse. Overall, I would say that none of them are actually that reliable for taking selfies. Switching to the rear cameras, and here the implementations are different. The Nova 9 picture is darker and more natural, while the S20 FE picture is brighter with vibrant colors. The dynamic range is also slightly better on the S20 FE. They do also have ultra-wide cameras, and here the results are even more different. Not only wider, but the picture of the S20 FE is brighter, sharper and overall more pleasing for the eyes. The Nova 9 picture is also good here, but overall I prefer the S20 FE. A big advantage the S20 FE has over the Nova 9 is the dedicated 3x telephoto sensor. In this case I zoomed in with the main camera on the Nova 9, and even though it is actually good, it isn't quite on the level of the S20 FE. Moving to a next scene, and in contrast to their front cameras, with the rear cameras it is the S20 FE the device which constantly produces brighter images. Like here for example, where everything is more visible compared to the Nova 9. With their ultra-wide cameras, once again the S20 FE is wider and overall the picture has better colors. As you can see by now, the quality of the ultra-wide camera on the Nova 9 isn't as good as the main camera. In this next place, when shooting with their main cameras, I do prefer the picture of the Nova 9, because it is more pleasing, even though it isn't as bright as the S20 FE. But brighter doesn't always mean better, like in this case here. With their ultra-wide cameras, however, there is no competition at all. The quality of the Nova 9 picture decreases by a lot, while the S20 FE managed to preserve the colors of its main camera. In this next scene, once again the S20 FE is slightly brighter when using their main cameras, but the colors are very similar here, and honestly I couldn't pick one over the other. When switching to their ultra-wide cameras, the difference is night and day. The S20 FE managed to keep the same great tone, while the Nova 9 became too bright for my likings, and the dynamic range is way worse. I wanted to test the limits of these cameras, so I took some pictures directly against the sun, and as you can see the Nova 9 managed to preserve the trees and some of the buildings. The impact of the sun is a lot more pronounced on the S20 FE. With their ultra-wide cameras, however, just like expected, the S20 FE has better colors, even though lens flaring is more pronounced. Overall, I would say that in daylight they are comparable when it comes to their main cameras, but with their ultra-wide cameras the S20 FE is just much better. Moving to low. When using night mode, the S20 FE picture becomes sharper and brighter, even though it still isn't as bright as the Nova 9. I still prefer the picture taken with the S20 FE, since night mode doesn't actually make much of a difference on the Nova 9. In this next scene with night mode, the Huawei Nova 9 is still brighter, and it seems to do a slightly better job on handling the reflections. The S20 FE on the other hand is darker and over-sharpened, but overall if I had to choose I'd pick the phone that handles the lights better. Once again, switching to the rear cameras, and here without night mode both phones are actually doing great, with the Nova 9 being slightly brighter, but at the same time some parts of the pictures are overexposed. With night mode both became brighter and sharper, with the differences being only in colors. The Nova 9 has a warmer tone, while the S20 FE is slightly cooler, but in general they are both great. When using their ultra-wide cameras without night mode, the results are like expected worse compared to their main cameras. You can see more things on the S20 FE, but at the same time the picture is a lot blurry, while the Nova 9 is darker, but at least it has some kind of sharpness. With night mode enabled, however, the picture of the Nova 9 becomes a lot brighter, and I like it here a lot. The S20 FE isn't as bright, but overall it is much sharper compared to before. Every picture from now on is taken with night mode enabled, and here the Nova 9 is simply amazing. It is brighter compared to the S20 FE, even though both are very sharp. The S20 FE on the other hand is better on handling the lights. With the ultra-wide cameras, however, the S20 FE is brighter and overall better compared to the Nova 9. To be fair, the S20 FE didn't actually take a great picture, but it looks better since the ultra-wide camera of the Nova 9 is a lot worse. Overall, I would say that both these phones have great main cameras. The Huawei Nova 9 has a bigger sensor, and the results speak for themselves, even though I think it could do a better job with the software optimization. The S20 FE on the other hand did also produce great pictures with its main camera, and I did actually prefer it over the Nova 9 on handling the street lights. When it comes to the ultra-wide cameras in low light, I would go as far as say as there is no competition at all. The ultra-wide camera of the S20 FE was much better compared to the Nova 9 in almost every shot. I would like, however, to show you some more samples so you can judge for yourself without me interfering. So guys, what do you think? Let me know your winner in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.